Hello and thank you for watching. This is SDSC back again with LEGO Transformers Forager. Earlier this year, there was a solid couple months where I was focused on other projects and hadn't built a single Transformer. When I decided it was time to get back to Transformers, I really wanted to make a new combiner. I had this idea for a 3-bot combiner made from a wild boar, a crocodile, and a flamingo. I tried to start on a crocodile, but it quickly failed. I didn't know where to start, had no real ideas for the individual bots, and was all the while worrying about how I'd make it combine. So I decided I would scrap the whole thing. No more combiner, I was clearly being too ambitious. Instead, I decided to refocus and just make the boar, with no intent of it combining. That boar build turned into Warhog, and combiner or not, I was really happy with him. However, once he was finished, I still had dreams of combination in my head, and I decided to see if I could find some kind of combined form. So to get Warhog into his combined mode, we're going to want to actually start in robot mode here, and the first thing you're going to want to do is just take his head and swing it up like that. Then once you've done that, this whole upper body chunk can also swing up like that. Then the shoulder here will rotate around, and you want to bring the arm in at a diagonal so it's kind of butted up right against the hog snout there. Then the hoof can swing around and fold up, and you want to do the same thing over on this side. So just bring the shoulder around, fold in the arms, bring out the hoof, fold it up. Now we're going to move on to the legs, and the first thing you want to do is just take the cheese slope on his toe and rotate it, and then rotate the entire lower leg like that and bring this up. Then you can come to the hoof here and fold it around, and this will just push up like that, and you want to make sure it's pushed all the way in, and that's how the leg's supposed to be. And of course, the other leg is the exact same. You just rotate that, spin the leg 90 degrees, flip up that chunk, bring the hoof down like that, and again, make sure this is all pushed up all the way, and that's how the legs need to be oriented. And the final step is the head. You just want to bring the tail up like that and rotate this entire section here, and you can see I've actually added a little sticker here, and when this folds down, it'll form a head, and that little sticker is kind of a visor or eyes. Once I found this torso mode, I fell in love. The combiner head was completely unintentional, but it felt so characterful that I knew I now had to complete this combiner. So I went back to my original idea and started thinking about a crocodile to form the legs. That night while brainstorming, the transformation scheme for Deathroll popped into my head. It was completely informed by the need for him to become a pair of pants, but I still think it resulted in a very awesome robot mode as well. Now, Deathroll is also easiest to transform from his robot mode, and the first thing you're going to want to do is just bring the head back like this. And you're only really doing this just so you can then bring it forward on this hinge, and that will give you the clearance to rotate his robot mode face back in, and then you want to just put this back and rotate this back. And this can be a little bit tricky. This whole chunk here is only attached by these two studs, and the clutch on these studs is not the strongest. So when folding this in, you have to kind of be careful to bend this out so that it doesn't catch on this lip here, because if it does, you'll probably break it off. So just be careful, be mindful, and this will fold down. And then you take the entire shoulder chunk, and bam, you have a thigh. Then you can come here to the arm, fold it down like this, and bring the little croc leg in as some kibble. And last but not least for this leg, the jaw hand comes around, and bam, you have a leg, and it's on to the next one. You just, again, swing this down, bring this whole section down, fold fold the croc leg up, and swing the foot into place. The last little touch is that you just want to come to these legs and also swing them down like this, and they'll form a little bit of a butt plate. There's just kind of some kibble in the back, which isn't ideal, but it folds up pretty nicely. And now we have Deathroll in his legs mode, and this is why I couldn't make him white. I just couldn't bring myself to give a combiner a pair of completely white pants. Moving on, I now had one last team member remaining, and I quickly decided a flamingo wasn't going to cut it. It's such a dainty animal, and pink would be a very tricky color to build in, so instead I decided to make a vulture. Whereas Deathroll was completely planned out in my head, for Carrion I kinda just started building and figured it out as I went. I had a vague idea of how the combined mode would work, but nothing concrete. Just like the other two, Carrion is easiest to start in robot mode. The first thing you're going to want to do is fiddle with the arms a little bit. You just want to kind of bring the shoulder up like that, rotate the wrist, rotate it again like that, and spin this little clip here. So you kind of just have the arm oriented like this instead. Again, we'll just do that on the other side. This can be a very fragile joint, so you want to be slow and careful. And then, again, just rotate the wrist like that, and spin the little talons. Next, you can just bring these feathers out of the way, and then come to the back and bring down her backpack, and bring the tail feathers together like that. This will just kind of keep all of this junk out of the way for what we have to do next, which is coming into the torso, bringing down the shoulders, and swinging them out like this. So again, on the other side, bring this shoulder out like that. And then this is all on a hinge right here. This will rotate up and spin around. Then you can take the head, rotate it 90 degrees, bring it up out of the way. And then we want to bring these wings up. They're on these very tight little joints, so you have to be careful how you maneuver them, otherwise they will pop off. But you just bring them up 90 degrees. Same on the other side. And get the feathers all splayed out properly. And then, last but not least, this just folds down. And you're done. And now we have Carrion in her arms mode. Usually when making 3-member combiners, I have the arm unit split in half, but in this case, Carrion stays in one piece to form the shoulder skeleton, as well as a winged backpack. And now to combine, we're just going to take the anti-studs on the bottom of Warhog, and the studs on the top of Deathroll, and they will just peg together like that. And again, there's some anti-studs on Warhog, some studs on Carrion, and very simply just plug it in, and there you go. And now finally we have Forager combined. Out of all the 3-member combiners I've done, this is easily the best. It blows the Zodiacons and Zeus out of the water. I love how he looks and how proportionate the combined form ends up. There definitely is a little kibble, but I think he effectively uses the mass of his components and brings together the 3 beasts into one awesome robot. Moving in for a closer look, Deathroll forms a pair of lean, powerful legs. Going in, I wanted the croc head to form his feet, so he would have a pair of literal crocs. And while that didn't quite pan out, his feet are still formed from the croc mode jaws. Moving up to the torso, I'm super happy with the way Warhog's arms and Deathroll's tail come together as armor around the Warthog's snout. Warhog's tusks are just barely visible underneath, and his hooves frame the pec armor like the upward-facing spires that a lot of combiner chest plates tend to have. The arms may be a little weedy and insubstantial, but I do like that the vulture talons form the hands. Honestly, Carrion's main real contribution to the combiner is the wings. They give Forager some major presence. Last but certainly not least, the head is probably my favorite part. Considering it was completely unintentional, I think it looks amazing. He has a kind of Transformers animated style chin, and the classic Transformers horns and crest combo. His visor eye is an official LEGO sticker that I've cut to fit. If you're too purist for cut stickers, it can always be removed or rotated back to hide away. I'm always eager to make another combiner, and I think this is my best one yet. Forager is such a unique presence and feels totally original. He integrates each animal used in his combination well, and all the components feel like fully fledged Transformers on their own. I don't think there's a real weak link here. The three of them are a very fun team, and together they form an impressive mecha. But that's all I have for now, so I'll see you next time.